What is up, guys? Sawcasm here with Game 3 of C9 Maelstrom versus C9 Vortex. This is Season 2 of the ESL Major League Playoffs, and the current score is tied up at 1-1. In this series, it's a best-of-5, and let's get into it. On the Cursed Hollow, and from C9 Vortex, we have Bobby Hank Hill on Vala, Zizix on Brightwing, Taza on Anubarak, Syracuse on Abby, and a fan on Zeratul. And from C9 Maelstrom, we have King Caffeine playing as Johanna, the newest hero in Heroes of the Storm K1 Pro on the Lost Vikings, Illidan from iDream, Biceps on Tassadar, and Dunk Train on Rhaegar. So, right off the bat on the Cursed Hollow, we have Abathar heading mid, already getting hit by an Abbey Mine possibly, and I'm not sure what Syracuse is doing in terms of walking outside there. She just wants to get those locusts out as far as possible, as far as humanly or as alien-like as possible. But an interesting thing to note here is K1 Pro is opting to keep all his Vikings together rather than spread them out. However, it's going to be a good option for him if when the tributes come up for him to spread them out throughout the lanes and continue soaking experience while his team goes to fight for the tribute. Now, that, of course, can put your team at a somewhat of a disadvantage if it is a 5v4, but you could send, at least one Viking to the tribute to assist and have the rest of them soak lanes. But either way, you can potentially gain a huge XP advantage. The Vikings, a very, very notable pick on this map. So it looks like Fan is actually engaging quite early on onto King Caffeine, as he likes to do when he is playing those melee assassins. He really likes to be super, super aggressive in your face. Now, another interesting thing to note is instead of, setting up for Zeratul to be a roamer, he's actually just kind of laning in the middle with the help of Abathar. He's able to do that, and Abby will give him the extra little survivability that he really needs to be able to sustain himself in lane. So it appears as if there's just a little bit of standoff going on over there. And at the bottom lane, we have Zizix and Bobby Hank Hill just doing their best to survive and hold off against the potential of tons of burst from iDream and the pushing power of Biceps with the sustain from Rhaegar. So they're just trying to hold back as much as possible. Of course, Brightwing will be able to stay in this lane as long as possible when the tribute comes up, even if it is in the top lane up here, because he does have that teleport, makes him extremely mobile. However, he's going to use it onto Fan to help catch this iDream, potentially take him out for early first blood, and they are following him. It looks like they're going to opt to go on the Dunk Train instead. They're going to follow him through, and it looks like they are getting him super, super low. Vala coming in for the kill. First blood from C9 Vortex. And they're going to retreat, capture the Vision Shrine, and be able to retreat to their respective lanes. So, instead of tribute just coming up, and instead of splitting up the Vikings, that C9 Vortex is actually, or C9 Maelstrom rather, excuse me, are instead opting to keep them grouped up and keep them all up there, just continue soaking that lane by itself. Okay, now he's finally sending one of the Vikings down, but it looks like we do have a little bit of a skirmish down here at the tribute, and iDream almost getting it, but Anubarak coming to cancel that tribute pickup, and King Caffeine doing a good job taunting and keeping everyone disrupted, just being super, super annoying. We did have a little bit of a chase and engagement on that Illidan iDream, who did get taken out. Now, Taza and Zizix, going to be doing a little bit of harassing and zoning for Bobby to be able to capture that first shrine. So current 1-0 shrine lead, or tribute lead rather, going into this best of 5 series. Now, once again, currently tied up. Did not cast the first one. Cast the second one. Will also be up on my channel. Feel free to check that out. But with that said, looks like Anubarak is opting to return top. It's pretty much going to be a stalemate top between Anubarak and the Lost Vikings. Anubarak, he does have these extremely annoying bugs, but they're not really enough to deal enough burst to take out all 3 of the Vikings. Potentially 1 or 2 of them you could take out if you burst them down, but he doesn't really have the power early on to take out more than 1. They're actually harassing him out of lane. He's being forced. This is quite interesting to see one of the best tanks in the game currently being forced out by the Lost Vikings. Now, it looks like we do have a skirmish at the Bruiser camp, and King Caffeine is going to sit on it. She has so much sustain, so much damage negation. Being as Johanna, she does, of course, have a major shield and unstoppable, which really make her hard to push off a point if she does decide to try to capture a Merc camp or something like that. And Anubarak as well, another option for that, but he just wasn't in the area. So Fan going to take out 2 of the Vikings and have an engagement with Olaf, and Olaf is going to 1 versus 1 Zeratul. What an engagement over here. So next tribute spawning up in a couple of seconds. The Vikings again going to head to the top lane and send one. Oh no, all the Vikings going to go to the top lane. So it looks like an engagement is going to occur over here. We do have Bobby Hank Hill coming in a little bit late. It's always good to get to the tribute kind of a couple of seconds early so you can start setting up in terms of map positioning and getting some good, very important sight for your team. But good totem placement by Rhaegar, gonna kind of zone out the Vala and make it a little bit more difficult for him to return back to the fight. Zizek's trying to capture this tribute. He's getting canceled and getting forced out of that. Tassadar laying down his AoE to prevent them from canceling. They're just being super, super annoying. Maelstrom at this point, it looks like they are opting to retreat, but they just wanted to spend as long as possible denying that tribute before Zizek is able to return back to lane. You see they just keep poking in here, being super annoying, denying that, and then heading back in, trying to, disrupt them once again. So all this time, the Vikings are getting free soak top, aside from Abby when she kills a Locust or when the hat is in the area, but pretty much free farm, and they do have a slight level advantage going into this level 10 race. And Illidan, oh man, initiating on Fan, but nothing's going to come out of this. No damage to follow up, no pull from a Caffeine, so they're just going to opt to back off. I Dream once again reinitiating, but just doing a little bit of harassing. Of course, the Avatar over here, right here in middle lane, could potentially be exposed if the C9 Maelstrom decides to push down, but Avatar is going to retreat just as I say that, so maybe they heard me. But yeah, so let's take a look at some talents real quick. We just did see level 10 coming out from C9 Maelstrom, so it looks like they're going to opt to take out some Merc camps. Now, when you hit level 10, you get the level 10 advantage. It's super important to be able to push the map control as much as possible. This means taking the Merc camps specifically on the opponent's side of the map, and as the enemy team does just hit 10 just in time before the tribute to come up, they are going to head there as soon as possible once again for that early map control and advantage, vision, sight, all that. And the Vikings are going to take that tribute, send out one of them to take the tribute, as you send the others back to lane, continue soaking experience, definitely the way to go. So a little bit of engagement over here. Looks like the Maelstrom heading on to Brightwing with the Abbey hat might get taken out, but a good blink heal to keep him alive, but he is getting a ton of burst damage on him. The strafe coming out from Vala is gonna not really do enough to keep them at bay, but yeah, good job from Maelstrom taking out that Brightwing super quick and easy. Now it looks like Fan is in the area. Maelstrom have noticed them, have spotted him, but weren't able to capitalize. So let's take a look at the talents real quick. We have Strafe from Vala, we have Blink Heal, Locust Swarm, Ultimate Evolution, Void Prison. The Ultimate Evolution and Zeratul combination is going to be absolutely huge. It's going to be ridiculous because he can clone Zeratul, and together they will be able to deal an immense amount of burst damage to pretty much take out any single target of which they choose. So I Dream coming in here to counter the gank from Vortex, not going to be able to get much done here. Now, the next tribute at bottom, I Dream, Tazza, and Fan had to all make their way all the way down here. Dunk Train and C9 Maelstrom already in a pretty good position to defend this. However, Vortex is going to come in here and be able to initiate to help zone them out a little bit with, of course, Anubarak, one of the best initiators in the game. Fan has that Void Prison, which is super, super good at not only initiating, but also forcing team fights anywhere and any place that they wish to force a team fight, because it really forces your team to, or force the enemy team to try to defend the teammates that were trapped in the Void Prison. So just some standard pushing up here, or sorry, just defending in the middle, and Vikings, or one Viking rather, Olaf going to stay and soak in that top lane while the rest of C9, both of the teams of C9, oh man, Illidan hopping on that Bruiser camp, trying to prevent that siege camp from being captured from the Anubarak, but he is going to cast a Locust Storm, which is going to deal a ton of damage to the Illidan, as he does actually metamorphosis on to Syracuse. Oh, no, not Syracuse. Oh, my goodness. But this is a ton. This is just a menagerie going on here. A ton of engagement, a ton of action over here at that siege camp. Who would have known there would be such high value on that siege camp? Of course, super, super important, and if you can actually capture it, especially after it is defeated, why not? You know, especially if the opponents were the one who whittled it down for you, spent their time and resources fighting it. So it looks like C9 Maelstrom's going to opt to push the middle lane with the curse, as they should be doing. Definitely the good play here. Now all of Vortex is up, so this could potentially be dangerous, and it looks like Illidan is looking to initiate on Johanna, but Johanna does have the unstoppable. She is so tanky, able to just walk it off like nothing even happened. But just as I say that, she gets a huge burst of damage, and the great ancestral healing coming out from Rhaegar, able to keep her alive just long enough for her to survive. So great timing on that ancestral healing. You really want to time it. You really need to know how much damage a player is taking and how fast they are taking this damage. That is the key to being a good ancestral healing Rhaegar player. And of course, you need to keep in mind the timing that it does take for it to activate, because it's not an instant cast. It is instant cast, but it doesn't immediately proc as soon as you cast it. So good job of Dunk Train. It looks like Maelstrom getting a little bit aggressive here. They do have one of the Vikings up top, so they don't have all of their resources with them. However, they do have two and a major force here, and the Vikings really keeping them in a giving them quite a significant level advantage. You see 12k XP coming out from the Vikings. Of course, that's what they do. While still having two Vikings with them, the majority of the time there has been some major team fights breaking out. So Brightwing just going to try to zone out the Olaf, prevent him from getting any further experience and gain that level lead. They do have a single level lead. And it looks like they're opting to head top. Uh-oh, this Brightwing may be in trouble. It looks like C9 Vortex has absolutely no clue what's going on except for Fan, who's headed up top. And it looks like Zizix might be getting taken out. They're blowing everything they got. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Uh-oh. A good Void Prison is going to allow their team to come, and a good Void Prison coming out from Fan going to allow the delay they need to come back for the revenge kill. However, it looks like both teams are going to disengage, or Maelstrom rather. However, iDream coming in with a huge metamorphosis, chasing down the Anubrak. Will he be able to take out the Zizix that they originally started to assassinate? They are able to get the follow and clean up with a 5-3 lead. Good job on Maelstrom for that nice gank and being aware that Brightwing is so out of position out on his own. Now, sorry for the interruption, but it looks like a tribute just is spawning within the 5-second marker, and Brightwing once again getting chased out. They just love chasing down that Brightwing. Of course, Brightwing does have a spell that allows him to gain 20% movement speed on a relatively short cooldown, so very, very mobile hero despite not having a mount. So, looks like Maelstrom's going to be able to take this tribute rather cleanly. Zeratul trying his best to contest this, however, he's taking a ton of damage as Maelstrom is going to zone him out and get the tribute with a 2-0 tribute lead. So just one more tribute and they will be able to get it, curse and push, do some major pushing here. Fan, forced retreat. So this leaves Maelstrom in a pretty good position for some map control. They could take out this keep over here pretty easily and then potentially push a little bit more forward or progress to take out all the merc camps on their side of the map. Now, boss is an option here, however, unlikely until we see a pick, so don't expect that, but potentially Fan might be looking to do something here, but he's just going to retreat. Okay, so both teams headed back to their respective sides of the map to both do a little bit of defending and housekeeping in the form of these camps over here and this tribute that just came up within 10 seconds, so both teams are preparing for that by sending out their respective merc camps to start doing some pushing during that time. So this is a good strategy that you see super often. If a tribute's about to come up, get some merc camps so it does something, does some distraction, does a little pushing while your team can go for the tribute and get something else done. Be productive elsewhere. It's kind of like a little clone for you that could actually do stuff, except not house cleaning stuff, but just pushing down the lane. It can't actually do anything like cooking or cleaning stuff that we really want to do, but of course pushing down the lane is just as good as cooking and cleaning if you're not hungry and your house is not a mess, but hopefully your house is not a mess. Alright, so Fanny actually getting harassed out by the Vikings. It's always funny to me when these little Viking guys always zone out someone much tougher than each one of them individually. However, of course, together they are a force to be reckoned with. iDream going to start to take that tribute. However, he's going to get zoned out by Brightwing. Looks like we do have a quite big engagement here, and King Caffeine just doing his best to tank for his team. Joanna extremely tanky, tons of disruption, and that is what she's good at, getting in the thick of things, you know, really defending her team as a tank would and should. So the longbow rate coming out from the Vikings, not really going to be able to do too much here, as it appears that Vortex is retreating and iDream zoning them out a little bit, and Maelstrom is going to be able to get the curse for their team to be able to do some more pushing. So we might see a really big push here. I'm thinking that we're going to see a major push down mid, as we are starting to see the entire Maelstrom team group up and take down these towers with so much ease. It's absolutely ridiculous the amount of damage potential they have when their entire team's here. However, they are getting pinched from behind, flanked from Fan with the Void Prison to prevent Dunk Train from doing any healing, it's very important ancestral healing that they potentially need to keep their team alive. However, he's just going to dive in there. As soon as he comes up, Syracuse clone is going to get taken out. Not a big deal, but they do lose the damage from that. Zizek's going to try his best to... So we just got a big ancestral healing out from Maelstrom. This is just going to keep them in the fight that much longer, keep them progressing. They do have a 5-0 player advantage, or excuse me, a 5-4 player advantage at this current moment in time. This means they could potentially take almost any objective they wish to, and at this point it appears that their objective of choice is the keep, and now that they have yet another significant player advantage with the Zeratul down for 10 seconds, they're going to opt to take the enemy's Merc camp. So Olaf going to actually be sent to the top lane to soak a little bit. They're really looking for that level 20 advantage, which can be an absolute game changer both offensively and defensively, depending on how far behind or ahead you are in the game. Could either be, you know, super good or detrimental, and they're really opting to hit that as soon as possible by sending Olaf top a little bit early. We're also going to see players group up for the boss. They are going to take the boss. We do have one of the Vikings, Eric, being used as sort of a human ward, which is something we've been seeing more and more for them to spot when the golem is being taken. So right now, Maelstrom knows that the golem is being contested, and they actually have an Oracle out on the boss, and he's just going to be forced out. Looks like Maelstrom's just going to take down that boss with ease. So both teams are going to have the boss here. However, Maelstrom going into this with a huge advantage because they have the level 20, so they could be the aggressors, and the C9 Vortex is going to have to fight on their terms, which is something we've been seeing a lot from this series. Maelstrom really know when they want to force engagements and when they should back off. So it appears as if we're going to see a methodical push with the boss, and iDream getting a little bit aggressive out on this siege cam, taking it out as soon as possible. Really doesn't want that to be a factor in this fight. Now the boss with a ton of HP at this stage of the game, very difficult to take down, especially when you do have the other team harassing you. Fan engaging and disengaging almost immediately, noticing the extreme burst potential out from Maelstrom. So it looks like Nubrak is going to be forced to use his burrow charge to retreat. Now that's not good. When you're in a Nubrak and you have to use it to retreat, that means you can't use it to initiate for those key moments when you see an opportunity for your team to dive in. However, speaking of diving in, the Metamorphosis and the dive coming out from iDream, but the good Void Prison from Fan keeping his team alive for that much longer. But is it just a stalling tactic? How much longer will this last? And they're going to take out the Taza before he can reach the base, and they are going to finish up the core here with an ancestral healing coming out on Caffeine. So good game. They have a full force here between a minion wave, boss, and the entire team to take out the core. Good game. The series is currently 2-1 in favor of C9 Maelstrom. So thank you for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. Hope you guys did enjoy. Stay tuned for some more casts. With that said, thank you. Peace.